Welcome! Today, we're diving into a question many renters face. Can a tenant break a lease early? Whether you're relocating for a job, facing unexpected life changes, or simply need to move, understanding your rights and the process is crucial. In this video, we'll explore the legalities, common reasons, and practical steps for breaking a lease before it ends. We'll also discuss potential consequences and how to minimize them. Let's start by defining what a lease is and why it's a binding agreement between tenants and landlords. A lease is a legally binding contract between a tenant and a landlord. It outlines the terms and conditions for renting a property, including the length of the rental period, monthly rent, and responsibilities of both parties. Typically, leases last for a fixed term, such as 12 months. Breaking a lease means ending this agreement before the term is up. Understanding the lease's terms is the first step before considering early termination. Tenants may need to break a lease for various reasons. Some of the most common include job relocation, family emergencies, health issues, or changes in financial circumstances. Sometimes, tenants face unsafe living conditions or landlord violations, which can also justify early termination. It's important to document your reasons and communicate them clearly with your landlord to start the process on the right foot. Certain situations provide legal grounds for breaking a lease without penalty. These include military deployment, domestic violence, or if the landlord fails to maintain habitable living conditions. Laws vary by state, so it's essential to check your local regulations. If your reason falls under these categories, you may be able to terminate your lease early without facing financial consequences. Before taking any action, carefully review your lease agreement. Look for clauses about early termination, subletting, or penalties. Some leases include an early termination clause that outlines the process and any associated fees. Understanding these details will help you make informed decisions and avoid surprises down the road. Open communication with your landlord is key. Once you've reviewed your lease and decided to move forward, notify your landlord as soon as possible. Explain your situation honestly and provide any necessary documentation. Early and respectful communication can sometimes lead to a mutual agreement, making the process smoother for both parties. It's important to keep records of your reasons for breaking the lease. Gather any supporting documents, such as job offer letters, medical records, or evidence of unsafe conditions. This documentation can protect you if disputes arise and may be required by your landlord or in legal proceedings. Breaking a lease early can come with financial penalties. These may include paying the remaining rent, a set fee, or forfeiting your security deposit. The exact penalties depend on your lease agreement and local laws. Knowing what to expect can help you plan and potentially negotiate with your landlord. Landlords are usually required to mitigate damages by trying to re-rent the property if a tenant leaves early. This means they must make reasonable efforts to find a new tenant. If successful, you may only be responsible for rent until the new tenant moves in. Understanding this obligation can help you negotiate and reduce your financial burden. Some leases allow tenants to sublet the property. This means you can find someone else to take over your lease for the remainder of the term. Subletting can be a good solution if you need to leave early, but you must follow your lease's rules and get your landlord's approval. Always screen potential subtenants carefully to avoid future issues. Negotiation can sometimes lead to a better outcome for both parties. You might be able to agree on a reduced penalty, a payment plan, or other arrangements. Approach your landlord with a solution-oriented mindset and be willing to compromise. Written agreements are essential to avoid misunderstandings. Some leases include an early termination clause. This clause outlines the conditions under which you can break the lease and any fees involved. Understanding this clause can help you plan your exit and avoid unnecessary penalties. If your lease doesn't have one, you may need to negotiate directly with your landlord. If you're called to active military duty, federal law allows you to break your lease without penalty. The Service Members Civil Relief Act, SCRA, protects active duty military members and their families. You must provide written notice and a copy of your orders to your landlord. This law ensures that military service doesn't unfairly burden tenants. Many states have laws that allow victims of domestic violence to break a lease early without penalty. You may need to provide documentation, such as a restraining order or police report. These laws are designed to protect tenant safety and well-being. Check your state's requirements to ensure you follow the proper procedures. If your rental unit becomes uninhabitable due to issues like mold, lack of heat, or severe plumbing problems, you may have the right to break your lease. Landlords are required to maintain safe and livable conditions. Document the problems and notify your landlord in writing before taking further steps. Health and safety violations, such as pest infestations or exposed wiring, can also be grounds for early lease termination. Tenants have the right to a safe environment. If your landlord fails to address these issues after being notified, you may be able to leave without penalty. Always keep records of your communications and the problems. If your landlord repeatedly enters your unit without notice, harasses you, or otherwise violates your privacy, you may have grounds to break your lease. Tenants are entitled to quiet enjoyment of their home. Document all incidents and seek legal advice if necessary. Sometimes, tenants face unexpected financial hardship, such as job loss or medical expenses. While this isn't always a legal reason to break a lease, some landlords may be willing to work with you. Open communication and honesty can sometimes lead to a mutually agreeable solution. Job relocation is a common reason tenants need to move before their lease ends. Some leases include relocation clauses, but not all do. If you're relocating for work, discuss your situation with your landlord and see if you can negotiate an early release or sublet. Family emergencies, such as illness or the need to care for a loved one, can force tenants to move unexpectedly. While not always a legal reason for breaking a lease, landlords may be sympathetic. Providing documentation and being upfront can help you reach an agreement. Serious medical issues can make it impossible to stay in your current rental. Some states have laws that allow tenants to break a lease for health reasons, especially if the property is not accessible. Check your local laws and provide medical documentation to your landlord. Tenants also have a responsibility to minimize the landlord's losses. This means helping to find a new tenant or making the property available for showings. Cooperating with your landlord can speed up the process and reduce your financial liability. Most leases require tenants to give written notice before moving out, even if breaking the lease early. The notice period is usually specified in your lease, often 30 or 60 days. Failing to give proper notice can result in additional penalties, so always follow the required steps. When preparing to move out, follow all move-out procedures outlined in your lease. This may include cleaning the property, repairing any damage, and returning keys. Completing these steps can help you recover your security deposit and leave on good terms. Your security deposit may be at risk if you break your lease early. Landlords can use it to cover unpaid rent or damages. However, if you follow all procedures and the property is in good condition, you may still recover some or all of your deposit. Breaking a lease can affect your credit and rental history if you owe money or the landlord reports you to credit agencies. This can make it harder to rent in the future. Always try to resolve issues amicably and pay any outstanding balances to protect your record. If you're unsure about your rights or facing a dispute with your landlord, consider seeking legal advice. Tenant advocacy organizations and legal aid services can help you understand your options and protect your interests. Don't hesitate to reach out for professional guidance. Tenant rights and lease laws vary widely by state and city. Always check your local regulations before making decisions. Some areas have additional protections or requirements for tenants, so staying informed is essential. There are many resources available to help tenants understand their rights. Local housing authorities, tenant unions, and online legal resources can provide valuable information. Utilizing these resources can help you navigate the lease-breaking process more confidently. Throughout the process, keep detailed records of all communications, notices, and agreements. This documentation can protect you in case of disputes and is often required by law. Save copies of emails, letters, and any signed documents. Many tenants make mistakes when breaking a lease, such as not giving proper notice, failing to document issues, or misunderstanding their rights. Avoid these pitfalls by staying organized, communicating clearly, and seeking help when needed. Sometimes, landlords may break the lease by selling the property or violating terms. In these cases, tenants may have rights to compensation or early termination. Review your lease and consult local laws to understand your options if this happens. If you and your landlord can't agree, mediation can be a helpful tool. Many communities offer free or low-cost mediation services to help resolve disputes. Mediation can save time, money, and stress compared to going to court. As a last resort, disputes over lease breaking may end up in court. If this happens, bring all your documentation and be prepared to explain your case. Courts will consider the lease terms, state laws, and the actions of both parties. Once the lease is officially broken, make sure you have written confirmation from your landlord. Keep copies of all final agreements and receipts. This ensures there are no misunderstandings and protects you from future claims. After breaking your lease, take time to plan your next steps. Consider your housing needs, budget, and any lessons learned from the experience. Being proactive can help you avoid similar issues in the future and find a rental that better fits your situation. When signing a new lease, look for flexible terms, early termination clauses, and clear rules about subletting. Ask questions and make sure you understand all conditions before committing. This can help you avoid problems if your circumstances change again. Knowing your rights as a tenant is essential. Stay informed about local laws, read your lease carefully, and don't hesitate to seek help if you're unsure. Empowering yourself with knowledge can make the lease-breaking process less stressful. Landlords also face challenges when a lease is broken. They may lose rental income and need to find new tenants quickly. Understanding the landlord's perspective can help you negotiate and maintain a positive relationship, even if you need to leave early. Let's look at a real-life example. Sarah needed to move for a new job. She reviewed her lease, communicated early with her landlord, and found a subtenant. By following all procedures and documenting everything, she avoided penalties and received her security deposit back. This shows that with the right approach, breaking a lease can be managed smoothly. Now, consider Tom's situation. He left without giving notice and didn't document his reasons. The landlord kept his deposit and reported him to credit agencies. Tom's experience highlights the importance of following the correct process and keeping thorough records. To recap, breaking a lease early involves several key steps. Review your lease, communicate with your landlord, document everything, and follow all required procedures. Knowing your rights and responsibilities can help you avoid penalties and protect your interests. Breaking a lease early can be stressful, but with the right approach, it's manageable. Stay informed, communicate openly, and protect yourself by following all legal requirements. Remember, every situation is unique, so tailor your actions to your specific circumstances. If you need assistance, reach out to local tenant organizations, legal aid services, or housing authorities. These resources can provide guidance and support throughout the lease-breaking process. Don't hesitate to seek help if you're unsure about your rights or the next steps. Thanks for watching. Understanding your rights and responsibilities when breaking a lease can save you time, money, and stress. By staying organized, communicating clearly, and seeking help when needed, you can navigate this challenging situation with confidence. Good luck with your next steps!